Stuck lamb from the graveyard here, a small town where I reside at the moment. This is my stepson. He was an Iraqi veteran, so I put the flag down here. I'm going to leave it here. It's Memorial Day. And I'm just going to tell a little story here. This is what this video is about. I'm not going to get off track. I do have some interesting things to relay. I will be making a few more videos. Now, look at this. I'm Duck Lamb, and now his father has relatives in this area, in this graveyard here, already buried. So this was a plot that they had, and they put him in. It's a really nice family, really nice people. And but this was totally 100% a coincidence here. And we have Esther M. Lamb here, born in 1912 rather, and died in 2002. And Edward J. Lamb, born in 1911. You know, that Esther was 1 year older than Edward here, and he was 1 year older than her, and he died in 2002 also. So I'm thinking these are probably people that loved each other very much, stayed together for life, had a very stable relationship, and a wonderful family. And you know, Dan he had a few things not so well in his younger years, not so bad either, because you know, I have been through some bad things myself. But Dan had, my story's going to begin here. I just wanted to point this out. The lambs, and I'm Duck Lamb, and it kind of comforted me knowing that maybe he has some kind of, I mean, it comforts me. I know there's nothing here. I mean, I know once you're gone, you're gone. The dead don't know anything of the living, not for a while anyway. And that's that. It's very sad. It's very hard for me to keep my composure even mildly here. I love this boy very much. He was a lot like my son. But he had a problem with the pills. Now, the pills started, now this was not just some kid that was off the streets living from day to day. He had a successful job. He was a businessman. He was had a very high position, very well paid. He looked like he was sculpted. He was tall. He was very handsome, looked like Superman. But he had a secret, and it was these damn pills. And you know, I think that at the time, I saw Dan all the time, so, and he was always just normal, composed. So I think that what happens is people start taking these damn pills, and they get addicted to them. People like to shoot over here. Anyway, or whatever they're doing. Anyway, I think that people, as you work, and you work many hours, and you may work a lot of hours, you may have unnatural surroundings, and maybe you're, even though you're making money, and hi. And it seems like things are better to someone else standing on the outside than what's really happening on the inside, no matter what. Well, that was the 21 gun salute. I'm sorry, that's what that was. It's Memorial Day. I'm playing taps right now. Okay, but I think he was just taking the pills just to maintain normalcy. He wasn't getting high on them. I think he was maybe taking maybe 1 or 2 pills a day, but he was getting, I think, some Oxycontins, and that's a very strong type of the opioid that's prescribed by these evil pharmaceutical companies and their evil lobbyists in Washington, and the evil politicians that take the money to allow this to happen to these, for society to be flooded with these awful, horrible, evil things. And the thing is, we don't need that many pills ever. I'm sure they have a place in the medical community, and for patients that really, really need them. But to just unload all this on a population, knowing through history countries have been conquered through just getting them addicted to the opium and to the morphine, and we know that, you know, from history, from thousands of years ago on up to present time. And that's what's happening to the country, and we're losing a lot of young successful people, and they're not going to be replaced by the same type of people. You know, I think this is all plot. They don't want veterans alive, number one. You know, they don't want people out there that may know a little something. You know, I mean, little something about their weapons, their weaponry that may be used against the citizens of the United States. I mean, you know, we're not allowed to own those things, so people out here that knows things about them would be useful. But you know, the thing is, he was just taking the pills, I think, just to maintain normalcy. And what happened is he couldn't get a hold of the pills. So then they go to the heroin dealer and try to get some heroin. And I don't think they're, like, once again, I don't think anyone's really, a lot of people aren't doing it just to get high and have a good time. They're just doing it so they won't get sick. They're trying something to keep them from getting sick. He had to hide this from his employer. He had to hide it from his family. I mean, he just couldn't go out there and announce this and go to rehab. I mean, you know, he had a lot of it at stake here. And what happened is he got a hold of a bad batch of heroin, which it's all bad heroin now. You know, I have friends in the police department, so does he. And it was laced with rat poison and fentanyl. I don't think there was much even heroin in it, actually. It was mostly fentanyl and rat poison and a few other chemicals that just were god-awful. And he had problems before, and his heart had damage, and it couldn't handle it this time. The rat poison was too much for him, and the fentanyl. Here's somebody he would have been a great part of the community. He was great with his nieces and his family, and he was a very loving and caring person. He helped people to no end. You know, but he had a secret pain that he couldn't take care of, I guess, and you know, he was working a lot of hours. He had a lot on his mind. He had a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. That's why I don't get involved with this world. I don't worry about it. But some people can't help themselves. They're on the fast track to success, and they get caught up in everything that's going on in the world around them, and get distracted, of course, and everyone's looking for some type of relief, I suppose. And there just really isn't any. But I'm gonna maybe post this. Who knows? Duck out. Happy Memorial Day.